few days ago, I showcased my Pendulum Magician Guard Dragon deck profile. That was a budget deck just like this one, but today we're going to be looking at a budget pure Pendulum Magician deck. Now, I use the word pure rather loosely, as I am playing a lot of the Endymion and a lot of the other spellcaster type cards like Magical Abductor and the Crowley Spellbook Engine. Just to make the deck a little bit better and a little bit more consistent, this deck is super budget, by the way. If you're looking to build a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh deck in the quarantine, you want something new, something cheap, I think Pendulum Magician is a really good choice because it has a really high ceiling despite being such a cheap deck. I don't think any card in my entire deck is worth more than like $5. So let's just get right into this. So first off, I'm playing 2 Harmonizing Magicians to start off with the Magicians. Only playing 2. Typically I like to play 3 just because I really want to see Harmonizing Magician. I feel like whenever I Pendulum summon this card, it just makes my hands and my boards that much better. But due to space, I'm only playing 2. I still play Duels, Alliance, and Pen Call in a lot of ways to get to it. Unfortunately, Electromine is banned, so I can't get to it that way. But there's still a lot of ways to get to it. Then for the other Magicians, double Purple Poison, 1 Black Fang, 1 Oath Dragon, and 1 Dragon Pit. They all have some pretty cute effects. You know, Oath Dragon can pop spell or traps, you get Mystic Mind. Purple Poison can pop cards. Black Fang can like boost your attack or whatever. Oath Dragon's probably the best of these because it allows you to recur stuff. There's a lot of times with Pendulum Magicians where you say normal summon your Harmonizing to go to a link 2, scale the Oath Dragon and say a Black Fang, and then bring back the Harmonizing so you can pen summon it because Harmonizing can be pen summoned from the extra deck, of course. Pretty standard line. I'm not playing Celestial or whatever it's called because I don't have one. But if I did have one, I would probably cut Black Fang because I think they're both scale 8s and level 4s. And then for the Honorary Magician, I guess, the Triple Chronograph, and then the 1 Actual Magician, the Time Gazer, one of the better extenders in the deck. Unfortunately, like, I really don't like how there's not great ways to use Chronograph's other effect with Electromite Band without playing Odd Eyes cards like Sky Iris. But the fact that it's a scale that you can just pop and bring out a bring out Time Gazer, and basically make link plays and pendulum plays without normal summoning is really strong. One of the things that really draws me to this deck is not only because it has a really high ceiling, is because you don't have to normal summon in so many plays, which I think is really cool, especially coming from somebody who plays Mermail predominantly, which is a very normal summon reliant deck. Then the 1 Sad Servant, unfortunately, still like the best card in the deck, to be honest. If you resolve this effect and you open with it, bring out typically a Jackal King or whatever, or Cerberus, whatever the ones that negates, you pretty much get a monster negate so easily, so you can play through Nibiru, play through hand traps. Love this card. 2 Mighty Masters, would like to play 3. I was playing 1, bumped it to 2, and I kind of feel like I wish I could play a 3rd. There's a lot of times with Selene where you have this in your scale and you just bring it out. You need this to make your Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, along with either another one or the level 7 Magician that I'm playing, the Dragon Pit or whatever it's called. I just feel like this card just keeps getting better and better as the formats in general progress. When it came out about a year ago, it really wasn't that great in my opinion, except for maybe the Sky Striker matchup. But now it just comes up more and more. And then the double Jackal King to... This is pretty much the main thing that I summon off of the Servant if I'm scared of hand traps like Nibiru or whatever. Just bring it out like the good old days. I usually put it here because back in the Guard Dragon days, this was the least important zone, so I just put it under the other extra monster zone. And then I guess the Honorary Servant. This is like the spellcaster, spell counter engine, I guess you could say. Triple Abductor, and the 1 Jester Confidant. So Abductor is really good as a normal summon too. You can normal summon it, and then you can get yourself your Jester Confidant, or you can scale it, and you can get any Pendulum monster pretty much after 3 counters. Not a hard ones per turn. Really strong card. With Jester Confidant too, you could like normal summon Abductor, and then bring this out, make Crowley. Unfortunately, you lose your normal summon there. But I just like Jester Confidant. Obviously, on Magician Souls, it's a better card to play. This is a budget version. Playing Triple Souls will be better. I think in general, if you have like no budget whatsoever, play it, and you can spend however much money you want, I would probably just recommend cutting all the Magicians and playing like Triple Souls and playing pure like spell counter Endymion style Pendulum Magicians, or just Pendulums because there won't be no Magicians at that point. And then 1 Curtain Raiser. Not many people are playing this anymore. I just like having the 1 extra extender. This is like the 40th card, I guess you can say. But like I said earlier, one of my favorite things about this deck is to be able to make plays without normal summoning, and this card really helps you, especially since I'm not playing Dark Room anymore. I just wanted another extender-like monster that can get me into plays. Unfortunately, not a spellcaster. It is kind of annoying because you can't link it into Crowley. It's a fiend. But it's also a scale 7, which isn't that bad because typically you want to pendulum summon things that are... Most things you pendulum summon, I should say, are less than level 7. So it is annoying that you can't pen summon like your master, but it's not the worst thing though. Granted, you're never going to want to have that in your scale anyway. You just use it as an extender monster. That also counts as a spell activation for Abductor or for Servant. And then for the spellbook stuff, so double Blue Boy, double Secrets, and the 1 Knowledge. So The reasoning behind playing 5 is because if you like normal summon this and then get 1, you still have 3 left in the deck for Crowley. That's why I like playing 5. I know some people just play the 3, which you could do as well. Some play more, some play less. Not really that big of a deal. This is just the engine that I like. I was really, like, back a couple months ago when I tried to bring this deck back again, before Electron even got banned, actually. I tried playing this and I didn't really like this engine, but I feel like now through testing with like current format and with the current build that I have with newer cards, I actually really like this, especially with Selene. I feel like if Selene wasn't a card, I probably wouldn't even play this, but these cards just make Selene that much better. And then continuing on with the spells, we have a lot of draw cards. 1 Upstart, triple Allure of Darkness, 2 Desires. So I know a lot of people have this theory that Desires is a 3 or 0 card, and I understand like the reason why people think, oh, you should always max out on Desires, but I try not to play too many cards. Like, I want to make sure my cards are as live as much as possible. I'm not saying that 2 is necessarily better than 3. I think it's more preference. That's why I only play 2. You could easily play 3. You could bump something else if you want. Bump like maybe the Curtain Raiser or whatever for a 3rd if you want. Bump an Allure, or not Allure, or an Allure. I guess you could bump an Allure. But I'd say Upstart. And then continuing on, triple Mastery to get Servant. If you open Servant with this, I mean, unfortunately, it's not really common to open Servant with this because Servant's at 1, but still really good. And then I'm playing triple Duelist Alliance and double Pen Call just because I really want to get to my Magicians. These are 5 more ways, basically, to get to your Harmonized Magician, and you already have 2 of them in the deck, meaning at least like 60% of the time you're going to open with Harmonizing Magician in some way, shape, or form, whether it's the Duelist Alliance or actually opening the Harmonizing Magician. Like I said earlier, the thing I love about the Pendulum Magicians is Harmonizing Magician. If you get to Harmonizing Magician, your hands and your boards are just that much better, which is why I try to get to it as many ways as I possibly can, despite only playing 2 of them. I guess another reason why you play 2 is because of Desire. Since we play 1, I think at least 2, because it's that good of a card. And then onto the extra deck, 1 Crowley. This lets you get a random spellbook card. It is kind of annoying how it's random, because there are some instances where you reveal like Blue Boy Secret's Knowledge, and you want anything but the Blue Boy. You just want a spell to activate, and then you get the Blue Boy, and you can't normal summon it because you already normal summon that turn. So it is a bit annoying, but it is just a free +1 on summon, which in general is pretty good. 1 Daybreaker doesn't come up a lot for me, but it's there for extra spell counters, really. Generic Link 2 with 2 spellcasters, really easy to summon. And then I'm playing 1 Cerberus and 1 Phoenix. So these are just here for utility. Like I said, this is more of a budget deck. These cards are really cheap. If you have a higher budget, I would say maybe play Unicorn, Access Code Talker, Appaloosa. If I had Appaloosa, I would cut probably the Cerberus for Appaloosa, because there's a lot of hands or a lot of situations with this deck where you can make an Appaloosa for 2 off of Selene, and even though it's only 2 negates, it's just 2 extra negates, so why not make it? Whereas Cerberus and Phoenix are really only that good going second. Sometimes I make Phoenix just to clear space on the board, to be honest. Like, I just have Phoenix chilling here, like under Selene or whatever. So it is up to you. And then 1 Cross Sheep with the Vortex and the Absolute. This is pretty nice because what you do is you link off the Absolute into Cross Sheep, summon the Vortex under Cross Sheep, and then bring back like Blue Boy or whatever from Cross Sheep's effect, which is pretty good. And then next up we have one of the best cards in the extra deck. We have double Selene Proxy. Unfortunately, I don't have Selene's. These are like $4 or $5 though. They're still really cheap. Has the same link arrows and similar art, I guess. They're both yellow. Basically, on summon, you get spell counters equal to the amount of spells in your spell and trap zone, including the pendulums, and in your graveyard. So you usually have like 5 or 6 of them, and then you can remove 3 to bring back a spellcaster from grave, whether it's Jester Confit, Blue Boy, something you discard off a pen call. Really strong card. This is the card that makes, basically you summon it, bring something back, and you have Appaloosa for 2 right there at the very worst, which is why I really like it. Then I have Boral Sword and Boral Load. Don't really need both of them, to be honest. Again, if you have Appaloosa, Access Code Talker, anything else is really good. Unchained Abomination is pretty good as well. You could cut Boral Load for that. I like Boral Sword a lot on this deck though. Some people are cutting it, but the thing I like about Boral Sword, there's a lot of hands going second where you can just like normal Denko after you side, pen summon a bunch, make this OTK. Against like back row decks and stuff that would side anything into that they would set. And then 1 Dweller, 1 Tornado Dragon. Not really needed, the Tornado Dragon, but I still like it because, you know, like I mentioned in my previous Pendulum deck profile, any matchup that Dweller is bad against, Tornado Dragon is probably good against, and vice versa, which is why I like having both of them. 1 Draco Berserker of Tenyi. This, again, is not really needed. This could be Borreload Savage Dragon if you had it. You could play a 3rd Selene as well, I guess. I didn't really mention that earlier, but 3 Selene is pretty good. I know some people play it, but I'm only playing 2, and 2 has been fine for me. Draco Berserker is still not bad. It's pretty much just the worst Borreload Savage Dragon. And then I'm playing 1 Dawn Dracula. This doesn't come up a lot, but I was playing Time Star instead, and Time Star never came up. And this came up more times than that. But it's just another spell negate if you have it with time gaze and stuff like that. But pretty much like this, and these. Like, these are really just not needed, I would say. You could easily cut these wherever you want. Where pretty much all of these, I would say, are needed. You could argue against, like, Daybreaker and maybe even against the Dweller and Borreload, or Borosword. But I still really like them. Borosword in general is, like, really MVP in this deck. It's unfortunate that I didn't have one when I played this as my main deck about a year ago. I wish I did, because I probably would have won a lot more games. So, either way, that is it for my Pendulum Magician deck profile. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. I will have a test hand video coming at you shortly, hopefully the next couple of days. So have a good rest of your day. I'll see you all next time, and bye-bye.